Okay, we are on day 6 of what was it? It's an AI generated world. It actually has a name now, and that is Kognabo. If that's how you pronounce it, I guess. I don't know. It actually is an acronym for something, but then I figured out, oh, it's a pronounceable acronym. And then I went ahead and told ChatGPT, give me a lot of things that this could mean, and then I had it create a builder so I could just put random random combinations together. So we have a name, we don't know what it means, but we can make a lot of things of what it might mean. This is just a website that I had ChatGPT itself make. I've had very little influence in writing or modifying a few things, although I did write a few things in here. Um, it's really just a landing page. It's not much to it. I leaned into what the critics will probably say is they'll probably say it's just AI slop or vibe coded or just procedurally junk or just another MMO clone. So I've got all these random reviews that were like generated. Another inventory full of crafting materials I'm afraid to delete. This is weird. The world generation has exceeded its original mandate. Another transportation system selling me back my own time. This is wait. This is weird. The weather system seems emotionally involved. The game feels engineered before it feels fun. So, you know, lots of leading into what the critics will probably say. um, anyway, uh, it does now render all my trees, but it's always rendering at the lowest level of detail, which is problematic. But it does render, so that's good. For some reason, it is rendering everything as floating up until I get close by, and then they are level with the terrain. And part of that is you'll notice that the terrain has this gradual arc to it. And that was intentional. Something I did a few days ago, telling it to put a bit of a curvature to help exaggerate the feeling that you are on a spherical planet. So yeah, that kind of helps the immersion a little bit, I guess. There's a big giant rewrite in the how the geography is laid out, how the roads are figured out in mountains and such. So and then there's splatting with textures. So instead of having 9 different varieties, there's something going on that I'm going to have paths of these roads looking better and blending better, or blending it all. You can start to see the blending right now on the edges. And now that the road is splatted, it no longer renders the models because it's figured out, oh, well, we have the texture alone and the splatting is good enough to represent that there is a path or a road there to walk onto. Um, there is a heat map now that tells me different issues that's going on. If I click here, you can see, oh, it's talking to me about the splat layers with the road meshes and stuff, which this really isn't a warning. Doesn't really need to tell me anything about that. But that I built into the mini map since I had it there. I still have the regular mini map where I can toggle it again and see the highlights of places that have different rendering issues, so I can investigate that a little bit better. We are now having a chunking system where I believe it may already be rendering a 17 by 17 tile mesh, and it went with 17 because it wanted overlap with the next chunk. Um, so you can see if you go to the sextant, the sextant has the coordinates, and we now have chunk coordinates and we have local coordinates. So I believe if I go, wait a minute, Now that's just showing 0 through 16. That's not showing 0 through 16. So maybe it is 16 blocks, but I know I saw it talk about an extra block for overlap. Anyway, I know I got the hiccups. There's not much else visually going on right now, and I'm not sure how quickly it's going to get the whole world rewrite done. Oh, that's another optimization that oh, so now the bridge had fallen back to that. You see that? I wish I could zoom in on that. This is a lot of the tiled maps or the tiled textures. And one of the optimizations was rather than using a ton of materials for all the different tiles, it created one material that had all of the tile images together. And now, even though I see the road here on this square, it's just showing a small part of that material right here. So that is what's going on with that. But somehow that has become the default fallback tile, is that materials tile, and it doesn't stretch to represent the fallback tile that has nothing to fall back to. So that's just a weird thing going on. Another big optimization was the stars. If I go to nighttime, midnight, so all these stars were individual objects, and now they are instanced, so that there's only one object that all the stars are instanced from. So they are all the same object. I believe they're just different sizes of the same object placed at different locations. That's just another one of those memory optimization, GPU optimization kind of things. So things have gotten better in terms of rendering speed. It's just the quality is horrible, and that is something I would really, really love to pay attention to. I'll press enter to enter balloons. So let me show you what these look like, because here we go. So balloons have not been really worked on that well. Let's go to noon. So we have light. For some reason, we have actual buildings or dungeons for balloons and planes and blimps. I might have to change that around. Or maybe have some mini game or some kind of way to operate those and fly around. But this is the texture. You can see up close kind of the quality and how many tiles. So you see the 3x3 grids of each tile type. And that's mainly because I wanted some variety to break up the patterns between each tile when I was rendering in 2D mode. And that's where that started from. And then I used to make RPG games way back in the day with, what was it, RPG game? I think it was like Game Maker in the 90s is what it was called. And it's not the Game Maker we know today. This was a DOS-based Game Maker made by a different company. And you could make, the trick was you'd make a 3x3 grid of your material, and then you could make another material in the center and have all of your edges for your corners and everything going from 50% in towards the center. And then you would flip the two materials on the other side, and then you could have pretty cool blending with your tile set. So, yay. And this should be a door, so there's no model for the door, and these are all walls, which don't have models for walls, so that's why we see all of that. I think is it X to exit? Yes. So, there is no game yet. That has to be worked on. But right now the basics is like, let's just get the world figured out first and run with that.